Hi, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. A special thank you to my patrons, Wild Rose, Lauren Chris, That British Unicorn, Jam Beans, Debbie Elliott, and D. Higgins. Welcome back to another The Weekly Chantal video. I don't know why it takes me sometimes so long to remember what the name of my own darn series are. And yes, before you come from me, I am perfectly aware that there is in fact a stain on this sleeve. I love this hoodie. I've washed it. The stain will not come out. I refuse to get rid of it. It was $7 whole, and it is like 12 sizes too big for me. It's staying with me until I die is essentially what I'm saying. Quick couple of things before we start, in case you guys did not know. This is kind of going to be my new setup. Sort of, maybe. I don't know. I keep changing things out, so let's see. But I hope you guys like it. Brand new backdrop. I've got my lighting as usual. Still working on the sound and video quality stuff, but you know, here's hoping it goes well. Second thing, I announced that I would be doing a secret giveaway last week. I'm going to pick my 3 middle videos, the ones that I do in the middle of the week. I've got an article review. I've got a what I eat in a day review, and then my last video that I did, which my mind is completely blanking on, but I know I did one, so gotta get my memory checked. Anyway, I'm gonna leave those 3 videos linked in the information cards up here. Go watch them, subscribe, and leave a comment, because I'm gonna pick one person in the comment section from each one of those videos and give them a prize. Now, these are the prizes. The first one is, they're all ColourPop. I hope that's fine. If you're a person who does not enjoy makeup, let me know and I'll get you something else. But this is what I've picked so far. First thing, the Aura and Out palette. I got myself one as well because, you know, bad intentions. But I got all of these for myself as well. I can show you guys a couple of looks that I do with them if anyone is interested. But so I got this one, the Aura and Out palette. Oh God, I think it's too bright. I don't think you can see it. There you go. That's the palette, the Aura and Out palette. It's lovely, very, very trippy, very soft pastel greens. If you guys don't know, I love green. It's probably my favorite color. Second palette is the Garden Variety palette, also by ColourPop. Also absolutely stunning. I have used this a couple times. The quality across the board is pretty good. The colors in here are very, very, very beautiful. Very like brown girl friendly. The first one can be a little bit tougher to use on brown skin, but the pigmentation in there so far has been really nice. So, and then the last one is gonna be this one, the Mandalorian palette. You can see this one is open. I actually did not get one of these for myself. But this one came a little bit broken, so I'm waiting for ColourPop to send me a replacement. I don't want to tip it. Both of these shades here, this one and like that one, are both broken, but this is the Mandalorian palette. You guys will also be getting one of these. If I don't get this thing in time, because ColourPop's been pretty slow at responding, I will instead replace it with something else. Something nice. I don't know. So yeah, so I'm going to go through. I'll just pick one for each, you know, each item in the comment section at random. I will let you guys know. So if you guys haven't had the chance to watch it, go watch those videos, leave me a comment. Maybe you'll win. Who knows? With all that said, let's get into Chantal, shall we? All right. First thing I want to say is that she has had a little bit of a lighter week, and there were 2 lives that I will be covering. And basically, as I'm recording this, I saw a notification come up saying that she's gone live again. You guys know, Chantal's lives are very, very difficult for me to review. She's very, they're very, long. A lot of it is just like, hi. And especially right now, I don't know how much she'll be saying that's worth anything, you know? So the way that I do my videos is that I try and skim through them. So I'm going to be honest, right off the bat, one of the lives is 2.5 hours long, even on double speed. That is too long for me to watch all the way through. I skipped through a little bit of it. Honestly, I don't really have much to say about it, so probably going to be a little sparse in that department. But the other 3 videos, I have more to say, so, you know.
So I'm making a healthy dinner, and just wanted to share with you guys, I guess. And plus, I miss you, so I kind of wanted to do a video. But I'm making the cranberry sauce right now, so I'll show you that. So I'm making cranberry sauce. I think this is the second time I've ever made it in my life. Fresh cranberries, 2/3 a cup of honey to be naturally sweetened, and some cinnamon, about a tablespoon of orange zest, and half a cup of orange juice. Probably turned out to be more 1/3 of a cup of orange juice, freshly squeezed from an orange, a navel orange. So Just gonna let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes on the stove here until, you know, they're starting to burst, and this will go good with the turkey breast. And done.
Okay, so she's making cranberry sauce right now. Cranberry sauce is great. I actually really like the idea of it. I've never had like homemade cranberry sauce. Sorry if you could hear my stomach just then. Ooh. I've never had homemade cranberry sauce. I've had like the kind that comes in a can at like Thanksgiving essentially, but I like the thought of it. It sounds like nice and sour, and I love sour things on food, so that's great. It's also pretty high in antioxidants, so fantastic in that department. It is gonna have a lot of sugar in it, so I know there's been some talk back and forth that she might be diabetic. It might not necessarily be the greatest thing for her, you know?
Hey, look everyone, it's Pete's.
The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season.
Love The Grinch. I love The Grinch. The Grinch is maybe my favorite holiday movie, except for Home Alone and The Princess Bride, which is not traditionally a holiday movie. I just, it's what we do in my family. We just watch The Princess Bride. So I think that the new animated Grinch movie was terrible, but the original animated Grinch movie and also the version with Jim Carrey, fantastic. A+, love it.
All right, I am making a berry crisp, and this is with frozen blueberries, frozen raspberries. I have 2 tablespoons of sugar, white granulated sugar, and some cornstarch in a greased dish here. So I'm gonna make the topping. All right, crumble top, mostly oatmeal butter and brown sugar, bit of cinnamon, bit of salt, bit of flour. So this is gonna go in a 375-degree oven, and I'll show you when it's all bubbly and ready. And there she is. She's a beaut.
Okay, so she's making a berry crisp. That's fine. They're pretty tasty. I've made a couple of them myself. I'm not always the biggest fan of stuff that has like an oatmeal crunchy thing on it, but they can be really delicious. So I'm glad that she's making it. I know that she's adding a lot of sugar and stuff to this, but it's the holidays. One meal isn't going to kill you. It's the whole progression of things that I worry about more. And with Chantal, a lot of the times, one meal is like, it's a signifier of worse things to come. So as long as this is just the only meal that she's having that's bad, I don't see the harm in it. Go for it.
This is gonna be good. Made with like real organic raspberries, blueberries. Still warm. Still hot. It's just nice and tart from the raspberry. And I also didn't put as much sugar as recommended. That is really good. Crisps are one of my all-time favorites, for sure. My cranberry sauce is made in the fridge. I'm marinating 2 boneless, skinless turkey breasts with some whatever I had in my pantry, honestly. Some sage, rosemary, thyme, salt, pepper, a little bit of honey Dijon, some olive oil, a bit of paprika, and I'm just gonna let it marinate in the fridge until I'm ready to cook it.
As much as I just said that I don't care about what Chantal really eats, this is a little bit weird to me. She makes a dessert for this meal that she's having, a pretty holiday-ish meal that she's having, and then she's gonna go ahead and she's gonna eat the dessert before she's even really finished cooking any of the other stuff. That's weird to me. And also, like, I feel like it must have just come out of the oven and she's already like, oh, I'm gonna eat a piece. So it says to me that she either is keeping herself intentionally hungry this whole day and is now going to eat all of this food, and she might binge because, you know, she's just really hungry, or she is essentially incapable of like saying no to herself for even this short period of time, which honestly is worse, because while the first one is something that can be amended, the second one speaks to just her like personality. And We've seen evidence of that before, but it's just, it can be really problematic if you're trying to diet, but at the same time, you've got this really, really impulsive personality type and you can't say no to yourself for anything ever. She's making chicken breast in the Instapot. I don't like the way poultry turns out in the Instapot. I've made like whole chickens, which is like something you can do apparently according to online forums and whatnot. But every time I have made a whole chicken in the Instapot, it has been dry as shit. The only, like, the way I make my whole chicken is, you know, salt, whatever. Put a bunch of salt on the outside of the skin, all my spices and whatnot, both outside, inside. Truss the whole thing up. Put it uncovered in the fridge overnight, you know. And then the next day, stick it in the oven at 400 degrees for like an hour. Depends. All my chickens, I tend to get like between 3 and 4 pounds at the very most. So an hour is like a good amount of time for it to cook. I just do a quick poke check with an internal thermometer. Bing, bam, good to go. I've never really made chicken breasts or turkey breasts the way that she's making it. And I feel like it would be very, very dry.
Who likes whipped mashed potatoes?
All right. Pro tip. If you are trying to make the best whipped mashed potatoes, and I mean the best, the most lump-free, the most smooth and delicious, if you have a mixer, use that. Don't go with your traditional mashers because you're never going to get it as fine. What I do is I take my potatoes when they're still a little bit hot. I just sort of quickly chop them so they're in like smaller pieces. I stick them into my mixer bowl with butter and a little bit of milk. And then I turn on my mixer and I just let it whip and whip and whip and whip until it's like nice and creamy and delicious. And it does a better job than I have ever been able to do.
The stuffing and cranberry, definitely.
Gravy is the best part. Anyone else can fight me on this.
So, I mean, I am feeling a lot better than I was, that's for sure. And my breathing is improving. Stamina is improving. So that's good. I have my first therapy session tomorrow with this psychotherapist. So, send me positive vibes, please. You guys usually do. Thank you so much. So, anyway, just wanted to do a little vlog for you guys.
I'm glad that she's feeling better and I really hope therapy helps, but she still needs to distinguish between what is and is not food related content. I really hope that's something that she gets into with therapy because she's saying, oh, I hope, you know, I'm doing a vlog, but essentially she's done a little bit of vloggy stuff and she's now eating with us. It's a cookbong, but it's still very, very food related. And I understand, right? There's not a lot happening in her life, but she needs to find those opportunities and exploit them because if all of her content is still revolving around food, it's going to be very hard for her to disengage from that kind of thinking. It's going to be very hard for her to be like, okay, well, you know, let me walk away from food for a little bit because her monetary stuff is also dependent on it, right? Like, she needs to find different activities that she can show on camera, different hobbies that she can show on camera, and they need to be completely unrelated to food. I said this in relation to Amber, but I also think that in relation to Chantal, it could be really interesting, is if she did thrifting, like go to thrift stores and find stuff that you could fit into. And I think that would be interesting to see what is available, what you can find if you happen to be a heavier person on a budget. That could be really interesting. You can get tailor-made clothes, see what that experience is like. That could be really interesting. Her clothing hauls in general do pretty well, so I feel like this is related enough that I think she would draw in a lot of that same crowd. She can also go for walks. I know it's a little bit colder in Canada, but Chantal runs hot a lot of the time. And going for walks could be a great way to get exercise in. And also it could be a good way to just engage in different sorts of things, right? She could talk as she vlogs. She can just show us around. I think people would just like to see her doing more things, as it were. Still, everything is still on the floor. It's covered in crud. There's garbage everywhere. her, like, I think there was a little shot earlier too where you could see the floor and the floor was dirty. It had like little bits of paper and stuff on it, filled with boxes. That frame that she got from her grandmother is still not hung up. Like, clean your house. I don't understand how she can live in a filthy house, but also when you are living in a dirty environment, I personally find it very hard to focus on anything. So if nothing else, you'll have a clean house, but you know, on the positive end, you could also end up with, you know, just better ability to exist in your space, especially as you are working on your mental health. Anyway, next. Sorry if stuff looks a little different. Had to go get a glass of water.
We'll find out in a second.
Hi guys, I'm not drunk. No, I don't drink.
So Chantal says that she doesn't drink. So that's something I'm actually really happy about, because given the complex mix of medication that she is on, it probably wouldn't be very advisable anyway. Beyond that, she also seems to display a sort of troubling history with like using substances to self-soothe. So she's got, you know, she takes weed products on a pretty regular basis. She, you know, obviously food is an issue for her. Overconsumption can be an issue for her. So the fact that she is able to drink very, very infrequently is a really good thing to hear, because I don't know, I worry about that kind of thing.
Pete's got coal in his stocking. No, Pete and I are gonna probably split on a PS5 when it comes out.
So she wants to get a PS5 with Pete's. Great. She's been spending, a lot of money for like quite a while now. She's just blowing through money left, right, and center. So I guess that makes sense why she's doing all these lives. I think lives generally tend to net you more depending on how long you have been on there. So, it's her money. She can buy whatever she wants with it. I just didn't realize that she enjoyed playing games all that much. Like, I have a PS4, I want to say. I don't know. I have one of the PSs. Not the latest version, obviously, but one of the more recent version. I think not a 2 for sure, but it's either a 3 or a 4. I don't game enough, obviously. I used to. I just stopped having time for it. I'm just surprised that she wants to get something that's that expensive, because she's never struck me as a gamer. She's never once mentioned anything beyond playing just like generic Mario, you know?
I've gotten some things. It depends. Like, I find Torrid, I don't know if they've changed. They make things a bit smaller now, because Maurice's, like, sometimes I can wear a 3X in their shirts. It just depends.
Torrid is making things a little bit smaller. Okay. All right. First, the thing that might, let's say this is true, okay? I don't think Tarte is changing their sizing depending on where they're like sourcing their clothes. Manufacturer to manufacturer, it can like vary a little bit. And given how big you are and the size that you're ordering, having it be off by say like half an inch can make the difference between something fitting well and something being uncomfortable. That said, it's also entirely possible that Chantal can't get into those clothes anymore because her body is not the same as it was when she was wearing them before. By which I mean to say that it's not necessarily that she's gained weight. She says she's only gained about 1.5 pounds, which I don't know if that's true. Entirely possible that it is. Even if that is true, though, your body can change based on the medication that you have, the age that you're at, just how you're holding your weight and where you're holding it. When I was younger, for example, right, like my upper body has always been pretty svelte, so like I don't really have much of a stomach. So I had even less of a stomach. I had a very, very flat stomach. My arms were pretty skinny back then too, because I hadn't like gained a lot of weight and then lost it. And so because of all of that, I basically had a little bit of a different structure up here, and I could wear certain types of shirts and outfits that were like much more form-fitting. I am, give or take, I've been this weight before is what I mean to say, and my body looks different now than it did then because I haven't put my body through the paces at that point, right? I think that's what she might be experiencing. Also, given her host of medical issues, she might just be retaining water. We don't know. So I don't know if it's Torrid's fault. That's all I'm saying here. They've got no incentive to change their sizing for apparently no reason.
So I got $15 for Starbucks, which I've been beezing. I've been ordering almost every day for the past few days. Starbucks for breakfast. But as I tell you in my vlog, instead of adding full sugar, I just do half, I'm just making like little changes like that because right now consistency is important for me over perfection.
This is what I meant. She's getting breakfast from Starbucks every single day. Okay. Getting food from outside is not a bad thing. It should not be demonized. And, you know, if you want to get something from outside, get it. But getting it every single day consistently is maybe not the smartest idea. Learn to make foods at home. These foods should be like occasionally food. They shouldn't be everyday foods. They shouldn't be consistently eaten foods. And the reason for them is that even if they're not going over your caloric limit, oops, sorry, leaning against my backdrop. Even if you're not going over your caloric limit, the thing you want to keep in mind is that a lot of times these foods are very devoid of just nutritional value. So you're consuming the calories, and even if you're staying under your calorie mark, but you're doing it every single day, what can happen is that they can just run right through you and then you become hungrier later, especially in the case of Chantal, who is currently not on the upward side of recovering from an eating disorder, and she does have a tendency to binge. So if you're eating every single day, you're eating food from outside every single day, right? And you're eating foods that don't satiate you because they're meant to basically be easily digestible and delicious, and then you get like hungry throughout the rest of the day, it's much more likely that either it'll cause her to binge because she's trying to stop herself from overeating on her calories, or she'll not binge. She won't like binge in that exact moment, and she'll just eat too much towards the end of the day. And she already has a propensity for doing this. I just don't think it's a good idea. That's all. I just don't think it's a good idea.
The first day, a few days ago, was like 13 fasting. That's high. So I'm probably going to have to go on metformin. Hey. And then it went down the next day to 12 something. Then it was 11. Now it's 10. But what I'm finding is eating something if I don't eat something every like few hours at least, I start to feel really dizzy and gross. So even something small, and then I'll eat dinner, and then there will be hours before I go to bed. Like normally I would eat and then like, you know, have like a super like binge episode or whatever, eh? Remember sometimes like McDonald's, like get like 3 meals and like a huge bag of McDonald's. So now I don't do that. I have my dinner, a satisfying dinner, go to bed. There's usually at least 12 to 14 hours in between when I eat again the next day. And I find that like lowers my blood sugar a little bit, you know? At least that's my theory. I don't know if it's going to always be that way. Yeah, I remember being on metformin once and it really didn't gave me the worst craps. So,
all right, quick note on the metformin. Metformin does actually impact your stomach a lot, but that's generally something that I think a lot of people will recover from. Like, so if you keep taking metformin for a prolonged period of time, your stomach will actually start to get used to it, and then the ill effects of taking it tend to diminish a little bit. If that doesn't help, you can also try switching from the regular metformin to like a slow release, long acting metformin. I mean, of course, you gotta talk to your doctor about it, but that can also help reduce some of the digestive problems that metformin can cause.
So at around like 11 or so, was like almost like 5 hours since not eating anything. I was starting to feel, you know, and I wanted a drink. So I went to McDonald's and have you ever tried it's a pomegranate blueberry smoothie. It's really good. So I got one of those. I only drank half. It's still in the car, the other half. And I got just a plain hamburger, and that like seemed to quell everything, quell the beast, and a water. So that seemed to really help. The smoothie is really good. It's probably really high in sugar, but their smoothie is actually pretty good. So that really helped. 2 fast food in a day, I know. I'm still eating out a lot. But I'm trying to make better choices. Like, you know, normally at this time of night, I would order a whole bag of McDonald's. And I mean like 4 cheeseburgers, 10 nuggets, large fry, pastries. So having one hamburger and a small smoothie and only drinking half is a very good improvement to you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to be perfect overnight, and it's probably going to take a while because it is really hard for me.
So she got one hamburger and one smoothie. It's fine. It's fine. It's not like the biggest thing. She's eaten a lot of other foods before, and given just Chantal's weight, she could probably eat a lot more and still lose weight. That said, what you should take away from this is that, hey, I should not wait so long to eat a snack or eat something. I think a good thing to do would be, I think CherryBerry Weight Loss had said this in one of her What I Eat in a Day videos, where she said that she just carries around like 100 calorie like nut packets, and she keeps them in her car as well, so that if she gets really, really hungry, she can eat them. I think that's a smart idea. I think that's what Chantal should do, so that if she gets really hungry, she can just eat something really quick, satiate herself until her next meal, rather than getting so hungry to the point where she makes a poor decision like going to McDonald's when she wouldn't have otherwise.
I remember, was it Zachary Michael? I remember him reacting to one of my videos where I farted so loud. And he's like, I wasn't ready. I'll always remember that part. That was funny, I gotta admit. It kind of makes me laugh that it makes people like the reaction it gives people, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Especially when people are like, that's so disgusting. It just makes me laugh.
You know what? Maybe if they took the stick out of their ass, they'd enjoy a good fart too.
Oh, the mac and cheese one. That's the video, yeah. It was just seeing him be like, I wasn't, like, his reaction. Oh.
Okay, no, we just don't like farts. I don't like hearing about other people's digestive issues. It's like, I don't like to degrade something by saying this is only for children, but genuinely, I've never seen a grown, mature adult who actually enjoys fart noises and farting. It's gross. It smells like a open sewer. I don't understand what's funny about it, right? It's a bodily function. It happens. And if it happens, like if I'm with somebody and they happen to fart, I'm not going to be like, oh, gross, whatever. Like I'm not going to make a huge deal out of it, because sometimes it happens and you can't control it and whatever. But I also don't find it funny. Like I'm not going to sit there and fart in public when I don't have to. Like why would I subject other people to that? It's just gross. It's gross and I don't understand you. This goes on, by the way, this video goes on for another hour at this point. And I watched through all of it, and I'm bored out of my goddamn mind. There's not a single thing in here that I wish to discuss. I've lost so many brain cells watching the rest of this live. We're just going to move on. We're going to move on, okay? We're just going to move on. Next.
I am going to my mother's, and Pete's going to be with his mom. So I'll show you guys what I have for dinner, what I get for Christmas.
She went to her mom. Okay. Well, that's the thing she did. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. It is, I guess it is what it is. All right. Okay. All right. I'm exhausted, and her behavior is exhausting. And she doesn't need me to sit there and tell her that she should not be doing this. She doesn't need me to sit there and tell her that, hey, the virus is having like its second true spike, that people are dying, especially like, not, I know in Canada the situation is markedly different than it is here, but literally in America, people are dying, like thousands upon thousands of people are dying every single day. So I don't know why she thought this was a good idea, especially given the backlash and the flack that she got last time, but I'm not in her head, so I don't know what's happening there. I'm too tired to maintain this kind of anger at her.
Or is it too much? I have a pair of black ones like this too. Now my Starbucks is here. Oh.
So I think this video is actually filmed before she went to her mom's house, and then she's posting it after, so the timeline's a little screwy. But she's breathing so incredibly hard, and she's talking about ordering a like sugary drink, and I don't know how she doesn't see the disconnect of, oh, this is happening to me right now. I'm suffering the ill effects of this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and engage in this thing anyway.
I also just want people to know, because I'm sure you're gonna be wondering about my health and what I'm eating and drinking in this video, and I've just been doing what I can to not binge eat, basically, because that's always been the problem. It's not only what I eat, it's how much I would eat. right? So no, I'm not cold turkey eating super, super healthy. But like I said, I'm trying to find a mix between healthy and unhealthy for now. And I do have, after the holidays, because it's the holidays, I couldn't get in to see a dietitian right away. But I will be setting up a free consultation with the dietitian that was recommended by my therapist. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm not giving up. I'm still working on things, and I will have an update video for you in the future in one of my health or F-obesity vlogs coming up.
I would agree with her that the binging is probably more psychologically damaging to her. 100%. That the amount of just backlash and guilt and just negative associations and feelings that she has with binging, I'm sure, harm her a lot more mentally going forward. But you can't discount just simple overeating either, right? I think that Chantal does both. Actually, I'm 100% certain that Chantal does both, because she claims that she's a food addict and that she binge eats, but we've seen her overeating on camera. I think it's Charlie who mentioned that she has a very, very visible tell where she just goes, and you can hear it. She's full. She doesn't want to eat anymore, but she makes herself eat it. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with her psychology, just how she views food and what it does for her emotional state. But that doesn't change the fact that she's still overeating. This isn't a binge, but she's still overeating, right? So she needs to work on both. And I think a great way to do that is, honest to goodness, to eat food made at home, because you are the person making that food and you care about your arteries and you're going to try and make it a little bit healthier. So you might not add that extra tablespoon of butter. You might not add a little bit extra salt. You might not make it as bad for you as somebody who doesn't care about your arteries will make it. And quite frankly, learning to make it at home can mean that you will burn calories for the meal that you are about to consume. It's a good form of exercise. She is good at it, relatively speaking. She said before that she enjoys cooking, and she'll be saving a ton of money and lowering her risk of exposure to delivery personnel. It's a win all around. Not saying that you should not, cannot, or will never again get food from outside, but just reduce it. Knock that down to the bare minimum. Only do it like once a week. You know, just make a solid effort. That's what I'm missing here. I'm missing a solid effort on her part to try and eat at home as much as possible. Once more, I am not an expert, and even if I was, I'm not her healthcare professional, so everything I say, take with a grain of salt. I just don't know if she has actually talked to anybody about this and that's what they're saying, or she's just following whatever she thinks is best, which is kind of what I suspect. Still, if she's going to this like obesity and, eating disorder, like psychiatrist, therapist person, maybe they'll be able to help her, and she sees a dietitian and they'll be able to, talk to each other and put together a plan that's like most effective for her. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that's what 2021 is going to bring. Next.
Forgot to tell you. I actually have to isolate for 14 days because I found out today that someone my mom works with has COVID, tested positive for COVID. They get tested like every week. And they passed it on to 2 other people at her workplace so far. So they're an outbreak. So, obviously she's on lockdown.
This is why you don't meet other people. This is literally why. And now that Chantal could potentially be infected, if she's sick, she might pass it on to Pete. And then Pete's is sick, and then he comes in contact with somebody else because he has to go pick up groceries that Chantal has ordered outside, and I don't know. He stands too close to somebody and accidentally passes it on to them. I don't know, but essentially, if nothing else, she's at least made Pete sick. She could potentially also make other people sick if she chooses to go through the drive-thrus and stuff like that she regularly engages in. This is a problem. This is why you're asked to stay home. This is why so many government agencies around the world are asking you to cancel all of your family gatherings at the end of the year. It's not because they think it'll be fun. No one is enjoying themselves here.
For my lunch, so for snacks today, I have small apples, so I have 2 for a snack. Because I like to have like at least just fruit on its own, because I find it like helps my tummy and it's hydrating. Like I get dehydrated.
I'm glad that she's turning to fruit rather than like, say, potato chips. But fundamentally, fruit are pretty high in sugar, even if it is natural sugar, right? Like, it doesn't matter whether your sugar is coming from a natural source or whether it's just pure refined white sugar. For the most part, when it comes to blood sugar, it's still going to spike your overall blood sugar percentage. So I would say that she should maybe have like more keto-y snacks, you know, so do like an unsweetened nut butter with like an apple or something like that, and like rather than just having like a larger portion of fruit, and that might make it a little bit better. The fat will be satiating, the protein in the peanut butter will be satiating, fiber in the apple can really help to slow down digestion, and yes, you will still have that carb, you will still, you know, get some of that instant energy, but it should also maybe be like a smaller spike, and that might be better for you. Once more, I think that all this is dependent on what her doctors say. She really, really needs to speak to a dietitian. But I genuinely think this is good advice for most people, even if you aren't like diabetic or pre-diabetic or anything. Just try and make your snacks as like well-rounded as possible.
Because the nosebleed, I know. Sorry, guys. That happens sometimes.
All right. The nose bleeding thing worries me a little bit. There's two reasons why it worries me. One, I had a friend in high school who used to regularly get nosebleeds, and it turns out that there was a gas leak in his house. It had been a very low level leak, not anything that like was causing like death or anything like that, but it was enough that it was regularly giving him nosebleeds without anybody really realizing. And when they moved out of that house and, you know, as part of the new buyer inspection, they found it, it was like just finding that piece of information literally changed his life. He no longer had this issue at all. So that's one thing that worries me. Second thing that worries me about her getting nosebleeds is that high blood pressure is a pretty common problem associated with obesity. And I know she said in the past that her blood pressure is fine, but given the rate at which her body has been deteriorating, it wouldn't surprise me if she has high blood pressure now as well. So I would really get that checked. Hemorrhaging is a real problem, especially if your blood pressure is extremely high. I've had 3 people in my family who've had like a brain hemorrhage, and 2 of those people died. The third person was very, very lucky. They were able to take them to the hospital in time. They live close, and by the grace of God, you know, he lived, and that's fantastic. But surviving a brain hemorrhage it's rare, and it took a very long time for him to feel like 100% again. Given her size, it might not necessarily work out quite that way. So she should probably be a little bit extra cautious. Just call and let your doctor know, even if your doctor just says it's fine, something which, you know, she's saying. It's just better if your doctor is aware that this is happening to you, so he can keep that on you know, in his mind and on his files, so that if there's ever anything going forward that could indicate like a deeper problem, and then, you know, they can use this piece of evidence as well to like kind of guide them in the right direction.
Cleavage right now. I have to stop being gross. Yeah, unfortunately. Then I have to be fake, right?
Being gross and being fake are not the same thing. Do you think that every person who chooses not to fart in front of their partner is just being fake? Absolutely not. Everybody knows that you have bodily functions. Just because you have bodily functions doesn't mean that I need to see them. Like, I know that everybody gets boogers. I don't want to see you picking your nose either. Like, that's got nothing to do with being fake and everything to do with the fact that people find that stuff disgusting. Just because it's a part of normal life doesn't mean that I have to indulge in it. And I especially don't want to indulge in it with somebody who I'm hoping to be romantically involved with.
I'm going to give it a fair try for sure. So it's been an hour, guys. I just wanted to spend, it feels longer than an hour, but.
Yes. It feels like an eternity. All right. On that note, I'm going to go. This has just been a very live heavy week. And like I said at the beginning of this video, as I was coming on here to like record, she went live again. So yay, at least one more live for next week too. That'll be fun. Yeah, I'm not enjoying this. Anyway, Quick couple of piece of information. Remember, I'm going to be picking the winners of my little giveaway this coming Thursday. So look forward to that. Make sure that you go watch the video and leave me a comment in case you want to try and win these items as well. And, oh yeah, important. I'll be taking a little bit of a break. I'll probably be off for about a week after, like Vlogmas, December, Vidmas, whatever. After this year is over, after Thursday, I'll probably take like a week or something like that off, and then I'll be back. I'll be posting 3 videos from then on. 5 videos a week were burning me out, and I think I was like spamming everyone and irritating everyone anyway. So I think that's for the best. I'll do like an Amber video, a Chantal video, and I'll do 1 video in the middle of the week on something that I enjoy. Yay! All in all, Chantal's videos this week are fine. She seems to be recovering, which is good. Still worried about her overall health, but let's see. She's making an effort right now, more than I've seen her make in quite a long while. So I'm semi-hopeful. Keep my fingers crossed, as it were. That'll be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. You can give me a thumbs down if you didn't. That's totally okay with me. Leave me a comment down below, and if you've got something that you want to let me know, and anything is welcome, honestly. I respect everybody's opinions here. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification down below if you want to know when I upload any video right away. I've got all my social medias linked down below. I've got Instagram, where it's mostly just food and life, but mostly food right now because of the pandemic. Life coming soon, though. I've got Twitter. I'm a little bit toxic and a little bit petty on Twitter, but I'm also kind of entertaining, I've been told. And fun fact, I put all my channel update stuff there, so if you guys want to know what's happening or just want to interact with me, best place to do it is there. And I've got Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job that I'm doing and you'd like me to continue, consider tossing a few coins in my general direction. If you don't want to join Patreon or, just don't like the service or don't want to make another account, totally understand. That's totally acceptable. Would you consider becoming a community member instead? I've got my community tab down below. You can become a member there just like you would on Patreon and support me that way. Still gonna do it. I promise. I'm gonna put up a poll. I'm gonna put up a poll. Please don't stone me. And that will be it. As always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace.